Hey, welcome to my channel. Listen, after 25 years, I finally heard from my first husband. If you're interested in seeing what that looks like, stay tuned. Hey, welcome to my channel. Listen, you will not believe this. After 25 years, I finally heard from my first husband. If you're interested in hearing what that's all about, stay tuned. So hey, for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. I'm Andrea M. Stuckey, and two-time divorcee, divorce coach, author, speaker, all that good stuff. But I wanted to come and share with you that after 25 years, I finally received an email from my first husband. So for those of you who know my story, who've been following me, let me just give you a quick update, or haven't heard my story actually. Let me just tell you what that looks like. Over 25 years ago, I was married for the first time. And after about 5 years of marriage, a very tumultuous marriage, my first husband walked out. And at that time, my oldest daughter was 16 months old. And so since that time, I have never heard his voice, had correspondence with him at all. Now, after that marriage ended, after several years, I went on with my life. And probably about 3 or 4 years later, I ended up remarrying. And I was in that marriage, the relationship about 15 years, married about 13 years, and subsequently ended up divorcing. And at the taping of this video right here, I am 10 years out of my second marriage, right? And so it's interesting because being a divorce coach, I started my company around 5 years ago, and I've been a divorce coach. I've written this taping 5 books, and I have coached and have spoken on different platforms, and I also have a platform and brand of my own over all social media platforms, right? And so I'm kind of out there, if you will. You can Google my name, I come up. And so I received this email. And so it was about 1 week ago, yesterday, at this taping, 1 week ago yesterday. And so let me tell you why I waited. I waited a little bit after I read this email because I wanted to make sure that I didn't jump on social media full of emotions. I wanted to sort of check it myself and process what my thoughts, what my thinking, if you will, was like after this particular email. So I find that very, very important. I respect my audience. Some of you have been rocking with me for, about 4 or 5 years. And so I wanted to make sure that when I come and spoke about this matter, that it was on point, that I didn't just jump in out of emotion, that I could actually give some relevance or give some information about how I really processed this situation when I received the email from my first husband. Okay, so about a week ago, I was perusing my emails in the morning, as I do, and I saw his name in the email. And what's interesting, it was my business email. So this is a business email, divorcewomenunite.com, that my assistant and I, it's a pretty new email actually. We set up maybe 6 months ago, at the beginning of this year. I had a different business email prior to that. So I thought that was very interesting that it was my business email, not a personal email or some other emails that I had, or it wasn't a DM through Instagram. It wasn't a message through Facebook. It was an email through my business email. So during the course of this email, the first thing that he did was, I wish I had a copy of it. I'll come back. But You know, he talked about the fact that he just really opened up and apologized. He apologized for being selfish. He apologized for not understanding. He apologized. There was another word that he used, but he apologized without any buts. I respect that. He made a note that I did nothing wrong. Now let me pause right there. And I thought this was important because a lot of times as women, when we have dealt with a relationship or there has been a level of infidelity, which there was in my first marriage, that a lot of times that we may feel we did something wrong. We may feel that there was some area that we were incompetent in that would cause someone else to move on or mistreat us in a relationship, right? And so I thought that was very relevant. Now, remember, I am 25 years out of this relationship, right? So of course, right now, that doesn't feel that way. But there was a period and a season in time where I actually felt that. When I decided to stay in a relationship, when I decided to give him another chance prior to him leaving, then yes, there was a season where I felt that. And I thought it was interesting that he used that he stated that. That it was not anything that I had done, which I know that at this juncture, but I thought that was interesting. He made a note that said, he had looked up to me during the relationship, and to think about the relationship makes him smile. This is all kind of, his cunning way. Nevertheless, he didn't mention my daughter at all. I thought that was interesting. Again, he apologized, left it at that, and it probably was maybe 16 lines, I would like to say. So as I read it, here's my honest thoughts. I was actually perplexed, right? As I was reading, I was very surprised. I was very shocked in the manner in which it was delivered to me. And then I felt sort of like nothing. I wasn't angry. I wasn't disturbed. And then I actually sort of laughed, to be honest with you. I actually chuckled, and that was what kind of made me feel like I better, evaluate myself for a while, because, and so I read the email, shut the email down. I didn't really share it with anybody at that time, or the fact that I had even been contacted, because I wanted to really process my emotions and really see where I was in this 25 year post abandonment, post-rejection situation in my life. And I really wanted to evaluate myself so that I can come and deliver real, raw information to you. So with that being said, there really wasn't much to process, right? And so, I thought about responding, and I thought about, if I was to respond, what it was that I wanted to say. And part of me, okay, so before I go to this part, let me just share with you that my oldest daughter is now 26 years old. About, I want to say maybe roughly 2.5 years ago, and those of you who follow me, especially on Periscope platform, you've heard this before, she actually found her biological father. And she had been corresponding with him, of which I never decided to interact. She is a grown-up, right? A bona fide adult, has all the necessary information that she needs. And I wanted that relationship, or whatever transpired from that interaction, to be authentic. I was not butting my nose in that, right? However, if she felt she wanted to come to me and share something, which was minimal, she did, but I did not probe and ask a whole lot of questions, right? And so let me just throw that out there. So as I determined how and if I would respond, there were a couple things that I found over the week's time that I thought was very necessary. And so one of those things was the fact that because she had actually made the connection and contact, because, and they really had, that's been sparse according to when I talked to my daughter a couple of days ago, she hadn't really talked to him in about 2 years, I think she said, or heard from him after that a couple of like a season of communication, if you will, right? So as I assessed for myself, then there's no need for me to make a comment about my daughter. He's aware, he's had contact, that's his responsibility. At the end of the day, what they do with that relationship is their responsibility. Whether she chooses to seek him out anymore, whether he chooses to communicate with her, that is their responsibility. I want y'all to listen to me, right? And so, but what I did think was important was that, one, again, I'm not going to stick my nose into their affairs, because now as an adult, it is their affairs. I have no hate. I have no regrets. I've worked through that process, right? And he did, I felt in the letter, by what was said, was an authentic apology without any buts, right? And so all I felt was necessary to do was to acknowledge the apology. I didn't have to, but I thought that it was just a good thing as a human being to say apology accepted. And so this is how I responded. Your apology is accepted. I wish you well. The end. This is important, you guys, because some of you are going through a very tough time, and I want you to understand that that's why the internal work, the authentic healing, is necessary. It's necessary for you, and it feels good that I have done the work. Now, mind you, it has been a tremendous journey, but I've done the work. And so after a week's time, I can really say, I have let go of that situation. I am free. And I'm also free, even though I have forgiven him without him knowing, if you will, but I was also able to freely respond and to let that person know, it's okay, I'll forgive you, it's over. I wish you well, and that's the honest to God truth. Now, we're not corresponding, we're not being best buddies, there's nothing else necessarily to say, but I have been released, and I'm free. He replied, thank you, and that was it. For those of you who are beginning a journey, those of you who've been abandoned, those of you who've undergone infidelity, those of you who have been hurt by someone who you've loved and dedicated your life to, or part of a portion of your life, do your internal work so that you can free yourself, right? And I'll be talking about what that looks like in some subsequent videos here on YouTube, but you can also go back. Nothing has changed. You can go back and you can look at some of the previous videos that I have here on YouTube, right? That were kind of replays of Periscope. You can also go on my Periscope channel, periscope.tv/divorce_coach7, and revisit many of the topics in terms of internal work and challenges that I have spoken about. 25 years. Now, the reasoning behind what he's done, what he didn't do, that's not for me to figure out. Every piece of information does not need to be known, right? But the beauty is I have grown, I have matured, I have done the work, and I am free. And I wish that for you as well. So for those of you who have a similar situation or are struggling, you can get through this. You can be whole, right? Now, I'm not saying my life is perfect. I still have challenges that I work through. It's a journey. It is definitely a journey, but more life is available to you. You can live and love again. Divorce is not the end all be all. So I love you on today. Listen, I'd love to hear your commentary if you have any questions regarding around this topic, if you would like me to elaborate. But I wanted to come and share that after 25 years of my first husband walking out, I finally heard from him through an email, my business email nonetheless. And let me add, he said that he had been watching me from afar and that he was proud of me. Now, I don't care about him being proud of me. I just thought it was interesting that he'd been watching me from afar. I don't know what that means, right? But I thought I wanted to add that in there as I remembered, so I wanted to share that, right? So listen, do your work so that you can be free. There's so much more life for you to live. You can live and love again. Listen, be sure to subscribe, thumbs up the channel, share the channel, and just be sure to comment. I would love to hear your thoughts if you've had a similar experience, if you're struggling, or if you have a topic that you would like to hear about in the future. And again, I'm Andrea M. Stuckey, the Divorce Liberator, your favorite divorce coach, over here on this YouTube channel, just hanging out and sharing with you. And I'll see you next time.